Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Once again, my name is Brandon. I'm an acting coach, and today I'm jumping back into some more Dimash to see what he has for me. I've been getting into Dimash a lot more recently, really starting to kind of find my sort of groove with him. Some of the stuff that I saw of his earlier in my reacting career didn't really vibe with as much, but this later stuff that I'm checking out is really hitting home with me. So I'm excited to jump into this one. I think this one's going to be in Japanese, and I might be getting the pronunciation wrong, but I think it's Ikanaide, and I'm sure the pronunciation isn't quite right, but I think I got close. And this one is in studio, which is kind of exciting for me because I haven't seen Dimash record in studio yet. He's got a very big sort of dramatic air about him when he performs on stage. I'm excited to see how he carries that over into a studio setting, how he might perform differently, hoping he still maintains that strong communication, the connection to the lyrics, and is still able to give me a really complete performance. But yeah, let's jump into this one and just see what he has to offer here. Beautiful melody. Look. Wow. Okay, no, stop real quick. Just hold on for a second. So, first of all, I was really excited, impressed to see how fully he had developed that moment before the song even begins, before he even opens his mouth. He is completely immersed in the story, whatever the story is going to be. He's pulled me in as an audience member. I'm on this journey with him, 100% ready to go. I'm not going anywhere. He has my full attention. So much of that is it's just built into the ability to simply step into a place and create an atmosphere, a moment, build a truth from the perspective of the character, the narrator. And not only is he in it, but he's in it so well and so completely that he has invited us all to come along. And if you're at all willing and you're at all set to go on this journey with him, if you are down for that kind of ride, then he has laid the carpet out for you, and there's nothing in your way. There's nothing stopping an audience member from fully committing to this performance, investing in it. That's going to make for a very powerful performance. I'm not sure I was ready for this coming in. I'm not sure I'm prepared. So much breath. Oh my God. Do you hear that? Okay. Hold on. We'll go back. This is something that I'm very accustomed to some other singers doing. Like, for instance, Lar Fabian does this really well, and that's utilizing your breath, the singer's breath, the performer's breath audibly, right, to help tell the story and help communicate the emotional state that the performer's in, the person that we're hearing from. And if you just listen, if you just really listen toward the end of almost every single phrase of that whole first section of this song, you could hear his breath, not just leaving. He wasn't just breathing out, but it was almost whimpering. It was like squeaking, just barely creaking out. And it felt pained, almost desperate. And then even in some of the bigger notes that he sang, you could really feel that sense of crying. I've spoken to several people who are vocal coaches and things, and there is a way, and I can't remember how they described it exactly. This is not my area. There is technical things that singers do that I know nothing about that gives them that sound. And he's employing that along with the breath. And again, you can just hear it sort of squeaking out at the end of each phrase. And it's just screaming to me. It's a sense he's living in this heartbroken, grieved, sorrowful place and begging and pleading and like crying out for the universe to be heard. It's so intricate and so delicate and very impressive. I've never heard this from him ever. And I don't think I've heard this specifically from anybody except Lara Fabian. But they employ it very differently. It is very different, but it's the same it's the same technique. This is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. It's not just the words. It's not just the melody. Everything in my being, every part of my body is screaming. I'm lost. I'm longing. I'm hurt. And it's kind of breaking my heart a little bit. Oh my God, can you hear that? Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, full-throated. A little bit of hope. Look at that intensity. Oh my God, he's a dream. Okay, all right, Dimash, hold on a second. Just like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. I think my brain it just shut down for a second because I completely blacked out after he hit some of those notes and does it so effortlessly. And not only does he reach up and hit the note effortlessly, but then he comes back down immediately, not even slides. He didn't slide down. He didn't gradually come back down to his chest voice. He was up here and then took a breath. And then all of a sudden he was back down here. And it's so smooth, seamless, and completely blows me away. That's a vocal thing. I've known that he is an alien vocally for a long, long time, but the performance itself, this performance is probably my favorite. I've recently watched Stranger. There's another one that I watched recently that I can't pronounce the name of, but this one's probably my favorite from a performance perspective. He's really just being incredibly vulnerable. He's not being overly dramatic. Like sometimes you can see him on stage. Again, it's a valid choice. It's not a criticism, but on stage sometimes he can be a bit melodramatic, a little bit more opera-esque in his performances. So it's a little less realistic, a little less natural, and a little overplayed to play up the drama of the piece. Again, perfectly fine, perfectly valid, not a criticism, but it is nice to see this sort of smaller, more intimate performance because he's still completely committing to the performance. He's still giving you absolutely everything that you could ask for from a performance perspective, but he's doing it in a very personal way, just a little bit of drama, a little bit of emphasis to sort of get his point across because the person singing to us is in a very desperate, very passionate place. They're in a spot that is full of very big, strong emotions. And that's coming across very cleanly, but also just in a very, very intimate way, a bit more subtle, a bit smaller. And I'm loving every single second of it. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Now you're just showing off, my man. That's gorgeous. Okay. Before that goes completely away, there's a couple of things I want to say. Just really quickly, we're going to back right up because I want to hear that again. I could probably talk for a half hour just about this moment that he has right after he pulls this back down. He's way up here in the rafters and he comes down and finds this really still and silent moment. There are so many things that you can do there. There are a few things that he absolutely did do there, and just different ways of approaching that moment, of coming to that moment from a performance perspective. And what he did was masterful. It was beautiful. I'm really impressed by that. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of awareness and presence to be able to command a moment like that and not have it come off as performative. And he did such a beautiful job of simply, briefly, without going into too much detail, when you are settling into a moment in silence, particularly on camera, but on stage as well, you have to allow for the natural transition to happen. Nothing breaks an audience's immersion into a moment more than jagged transitions of emotion, more than just simply jumping in and out of character or jumping in and out of a feeling or emotion in a way that is completely unnatural for us as human beings. We don't do that. And whenever this fell, certainly the tone of the music fell down, the volume kind of decrescendoed down into this really small place until it was practically silent. But him as well, from the expression on his face to sort of the position of his chin and his body, you could see the entire thing. Everything about him was going from this big emotional climactic place and just sort of slowly shrinking, slowly lowering, coming down, transitioning into this place softly, like a feather on a breeze, man. Just like a feather floating down on a breeze, or like a snowflake. It just kind of fell down into this natural state, and then he sang his way back out of it. And it was so beautiful. We're going to watch it one more time because I have to. Big, strong tension everywhere. And then look at him. Breath. Oh my God. I'm going to pass out. It's so beautiful. so beautiful. I really wish that was not on the screen. Absolutely gorgeous. Probably my favorite performance of his to date. Like 100%. I cannot, that was incredible. Just that last 45 seconds was probably my favorite performance of him ever, like from him ever, because it was such a delicate moment, and he handled it with like to absolute perfection. It was beautiful. This was Dimash. The performance itself was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, mind-blowing. I am 100% invested in this man as a performer now. That completely changed my perspective on who he is and what he has to offer. It was gorgeous. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, if that's even possible, consider subscribing to the channel. We're over 25K now, looking to push for 50, on our way to 50K. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button, leave me a comment. All that really helps the channel grow, helps the algorithm know to spread it out to more viewers, to get more of you in here. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with me. It means the world. Please remember, as always, to be kind to each other, and most importantly, be kind to yourself.